Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Welcome to another live stream on Monday, the 24th of February. And since we've been back from the Philippines for a few weeks, I've been able to utilize Monday evenings for a live stream. It's not always going to be that way. On Mondays, there may be some, excuse me, some weeks I just can't do the live stream at all. Kind of depends on the situation. But it is Monday. I like to do it here on Monday so I'm not so worn out by the end of the week. I worked 7 days last week. Today was a hard day. And so the show must go on. We got to pull through this tonight. And so hopefully I have an interesting topic to engage you with. Big E and Cebu, good evening here tonight. Your siren, your siren worked. Would that help my cough any? Excuse me. Or did you have to set a siren as an alarm to remind you that at 6 o'clock tonight we were going to have a live stream? So let me know. The topic tonight is, if I can see my notes here in the dark, dying for love in the Philippines. Dying for love in the Philippines. And so what that's all about, just well, for example, I have in the live chat there several links. The last link there is a link to an article that talks about, and I appreciate the thumbs up, that talks about how lonely Americans are. You'd have to read the link there, but I think from memory it says something like 72% of the people that are very heavy into social media are very lonely, and only like 52% who are light users of social media. But nevertheless, it's still a kind of an alarming number there. People that are lonely in America, and so I thought I'd throw that out there if you want to look at that sometime or check it out while I'm talking to help kind of grease the skids here tonight. Oh, you have a siren, Big E. I like that idea. The Love Beyond the Sea siren. Is that like, maybe what I should do is come up with a similar thing for the local area here that doesn't alarm people. It's loud enough that kind of gets people's attention, like it's a tornado warning siren that goes off when you're supposed to take cover. Only this way, it'll be a Love Beyond the Sea siren. That means go into your homes, pull out your phones, your laptops, your whatever your devices are, and tune into the live stream. But that might be alarming if it's too loud. But I like the idea. A siren. Everybody stop what you're doing and go check out the live stream. Now, again, you notice the lights are dim. There was a moment this week when I actually did turn on the lights, and I turned up the thermostat a couple degrees because I had, somehow 14. I lost one today. It was 14 new subscribers in a week, which has probably never happened before, and lost one today. But a closer look at the numbers show every day, and I check it every day, the views and the view minutes go down. So it's continued on a downward spiral, and so I just can't justify keeping the thermostat up at 72 right now, and the lights have to be dim. And to show you just how bad things are, what you're seeing here, this here, let's see, so you can see the whole thing, how sad things are. This is my comb. This is it. This is all I'm using right now because at the moment I can't afford to get a new plastic comb because things are slow here on Love Beyond the Sea. I don't mind saying that. I'm not going to hide from the reality of the situation, but we'll just try to do the best we can. And one of the things I want to do here is talk about things that have to do with relationships. I'm married to Filipina, May 10th, 2015, and very happy with her. Was I was single for so very long, and I found somebody in not very long at all. Less than 8 weeks. I married my Filipino wife, and I'm going to try my hardest not to sneeze here. Excuse me. I had a terrible cough. And so I thought, well, let's have a channel about, to help give hope to some people who still haven't found anybody. Maybe they're wrestling with giving up. Maybe they never thought about going outside of their country to find somebody, but it does work. We just went to a birthday celebration. We pretty much were just watching some TV, and there was a little karaoke. I think that we were watching. It's called Naked and Afraid. Naked and Afraid. Seems like every time we're over there, they're watching that show, or he is. And so we were watching that show. I think it's kind of fascinating show, and it's all mostly the same thing all the time. It's just kind of interesting to watch. Maybe I'll do that one of these days. I'll do it naked out somewhere in Alaska, and see if I can survive. Like a 3-hour live stream. That would be something else. Maybe network TV would pick that up. No, Big E, you can leave comments. Comments are good for business. So no problema there. Well, I appreciate your sentiments and kind words, Big E. That it's worth having an alarm go off, and I just hope. Let's see. Right now, you're in the Philippines, so that's okay. It's about 8:08 in the morning, so you're not going to wake anybody up. The roosters have been up for a while, so no problem there with the alarm. I really like the idea. Congratulations for thinking outside the box there. And I appreciate your kind words, Big E. And I agree. A lot of YouTube is not really, I guess you'd say, not really value added. But then again, they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and what's value to one person who is using some of their valuable time to look at a YouTube channel is not what is valuable to somebody else. So, I like to watch videos on UFOs. Since I was a kid, for some reason, I was kind of fascinated with UFOs. And I just saw a video here that popped up before I tried to lay down for 10 minutes, and my wife was texting me, so I didn't get much of a rest, but I did catch this video on UFOs. I like UFO videos. That's just all for entertainment. And but again, last week I said there's 3 reasons people watch YouTube. One is for entertainment, and then the one is for information. And like I got stuck last time, the other one is like education, which is a lot like information, and entertainment. And I think that's it. I'm not totally sure. Biggie says, since he met me, I ran into one man after the next who was in your situation. Well, a lot of guys, you're surprised. You find out people say, well, yeah, I haven't really had a girlfriend for forever, or maybe never have. And I think it's more common. The article I linked there talks about loneliness. I think people are on social media, when they're on social media heavily, because they are lonely, and they're either lonely and trying to find somebody, some hope that they could find somebody, something that would work, something that would give them a little hope, a little optimism, or they just are bored and they're looking for something to tide them over. But I think relationship, is important. A lot of people feel like, they don't need a relationship. They're happy within themselves. I think that's kind of very unusual, and maybe they can get by for a while. I tried, I thought, well, I'll just do this and I'll do that and I'll be happy. And, whenever I tried to do this and do that, there were always other couples around and it got very distracting for me. Um, well, Big E, you can always send me an email. I'm not aware of that. It'll be in the description box. Every video, Love Beyond the Sea for you, the number four, Love Beyond the Sea for you at gmail.com. Um, Boy, that sounds terribly interesting. Now, instead of getting sleep, I need to see what I can find out about that. But if it's not somebody in the Philippines vlogging community, then probably nobody here will know. So if you want to email me at that address, Big E, I'd be glad to take a look at it, because I try to look at something like this, like that, and say, well, what was going on? What was he doing in his life? Who were his influencers in his life? Could things have changed, if he had done something different? So that's sad to hear, but very interesting. And you were one of 20 trying to talk him out of it as he took pill after pill. Evidently, he failed to commit suicide, Big E, because he said he tried to commit suicide. Hank Hilliam, good to see you here tonight, Hank, on a Monday night. So he was able to be talked out of it. That's good. Hank says, I think you know who you're talking about. Yeah, please send me the link, Big E. I'll check that out before bed tonight. And if you can listen to the 90 minutes of him, you'll be amazed how important your show actually is. Well, now I'm intrigued. If I don't, I'll probably find it tonight. Tomorrow, I got to balance checkbooks and do other things. I worked 7 days this past week, so the weekend wasn't very helpful to get anything done. So what I like to do is, like, I can listen to a 90-minute video while I'm doing work here at the computer. So no trouble there. Famous Philippines vlogger. Well, now I'm almost wanting to guess, but I'll just get distracted. Yeah, Hank knows about this. Police showed up and took him, and they should take that seriously. Like any doctor here in the States or psychologist, if anybody tells them, indicates to them they've been thinking about suicide, they have to report that to the authorities. I mean, you don't even want to joke about that, because they have to take that seriously. A Brit farming in the Philippines. Well, I didn't know that, and I'm not sure I can picture the man's face, so I'm not familiar with the channel. But yeah, I will take a look at that, Big E, and I appreciate that. And that may even fit in with the topic tonight, which would be dying for love in the Philippines. Now, I obviously just found out about that. So, Big E, you would know if anything is relative to what I would bring up tonight. The link is love. The word four is a number, because it was already taken, believe it or not, on Gmail. So I had to use Love Beyond the Sea and then for you at gmail.com. And it's in every description. There's various links there. You might have to scroll down, but it's in there. Yeah, that's you want to take that seriously. Yeah, I do. I think think we just may have had a childhood friend commit suicide last year. Um, I'd have to ask my mother about that, but like I said, people I know and have worked with have died. So, I've been doing some videos on mortality lately, and it's just something Hank won't think about because he's too young. But you get to be 58, and you start thinking about it. Okay, yeah, I want to check that out. Thanks for mentioning that. Maybe it won't be up here before I go to bed, but um, you know, Mike Philippines, he passed away, and so I had some videos already written for articles that I put in the WordPress blog site, which is listed above. So that's one reason I script them out, is because they're articles, and so I might as well use them for the videos too. They go hand in hand. And so I thought, well, this is a good time to talk about mortality. And I want to do an upload here within a week or so about, is it worth marrying later in life? When you're not going to be around, apparently, for as long as you would have been when you were younger. Is it still um, is it something to do? And so the reason I want to bring this up, uh, dying for love in the Philippines. Some people will go to the Philippines and they aren't prepared, and they go with a certain degree of desperation. Tom and Ruth, Philippine Adventures. Good evening and good morning to you, Tom, out there in Bukidnon. And it's interesting. This gentleman was in the Philippines, and it just so happens the topic is dying for love in the Philippines. I had no idea about this. What I wanted to discuss about was people like me, like others, have gone to the Philippines and kind of, what's the term? Just kind of threw caution to the wind and went out there for better or worse, no pun intended, for better or worse, to try to look for a wife. And maybe they weren't thinking ahead. Maybe when some go to the Philippines, they go um, with a mental state when they are kind of depressed. And they don't say that. Um, well, if they have a channel, they probably won't say that, but maybe they don't tell anybody. They just decide, well, I'm going to go to the Philippines and look for a wife, and maybe they're like the people in that article I linked that are very lonely. And if you're very lonely, that can make you very depressed as well. So, Tom, good to see you here tonight. Scoot B, um, howdy to you as well. Um, and then there's these medical situations where a guy could go to the Philippines, maybe against better judgment, and they should stay, maybe stay where they are. Um, I know it gets expensive, here in the West, here in America. Um, but maybe they're thinking, you know what, I'll just go to the Philippines. Other people have found love there. I'm going to try to find love, and even if it kills me, if it's the last thing I do, I'm going to go to the Philippines and I'm going to try to find somebody out there. And maybe their health isn't all that good, and maybe they know that, but maybe they just refuse to think about it, because the number one thing they're going there for is to find someone to end that heartache in their life. Yeah, it, yeah, it turns out to be relevant, and the dying here was just simply in reference to, or an illusion, I guess, a very weak illusion to, the Mike Philippines. It's not his name, but I guess that's what I've referred to him as. I was aware of his videos. Um, in the early days. Thank you for the thumbs up, by the way. Um, but there are guys that will go out there and not be very prepared, and they're in a dire straits, and then they die, and the main reason they're going there probably is to find love, in addition to a much more sustainable cost of living. And they might go there and not be in a good mental frame of mind, and then the worst case scenario happens. Um, Try to keep up here with these comments. No woman is worth taking your life over. So apparently he was he talking about that. I mean, a man, and I've heard of not just this gentleman here, but I've saw another article. I mean, and other people commit suicide in the Philippines, although you don't seem to hear about that very much from Filipinos. Big E, you're out there. Tom, you're out there. You can, maybe chime in here, but here in the United States, people commit suicide, regularly. In the Philippines, it seems like, despite the poverty, that I personally haven't come across a lot of people talking about Filipinos committing suicide. We talk about how durable and hardy and um, how how much of a survivor they are. You don't really see a lot of depression, although I'm sure it happens. But I have heard of at least one foreigner that committed suicide, and others that did. And I suppose it may have been over a woman, or maybe the expectations in going to the Philippines were one thing, and then the reality was something else. So I'm sure somebody could do that. Maybe the woman they felt was the woman, the one, and they thought they were the one, and they heaped all kinds of undue um, relevance and importance on that woman, and she disappointed, and maybe his expectations were way out of line to begin with, and so you know um, depending on where they're at, their emotional state, before they met them, that could trigger uh, something like suicide. But yeah, no woman is worth taking your life over, Hank. That is true. I do agree with you. Yeah, would a woman take her life if you left her? Not at all. Um, and Tom Rue says, I got an email Friday. Someone was saying the same, wanting to leave life, and it's sad. There are many. You know, I I was alone for so long, and I won't kid you. The thought does go through your mind. What's the point? What's the point? Why keep enduring? You start talking to yourself, and I mean, I did have people I talked to. I might have said some crazy things, and they were all real. What I was thinking, feeling, believing, experiencing. I've always had somebody to help guide me through those years because it was really tough. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't some time when I would be driving down the road, and the thought, I'm driving faster than I should be because I'm upset, blasting the music, and then you get this thought, how easy it would be for me just to yank the car over, and it would all be over. Then you start thinking, well, no, with my luck, it'd probably survive, and things would be even worse. And that was not over being disappointed by a woman. That would have been over not finding someone. Yeah, that can be a tough deal. And I wouldn't justify that saying, well, I was alone for so long, I should do things like that. The thoughts are still wrong, but I understand those thoughts. If somebody says, I'm miserable, I'm alone, I'm just checking out, I understand that. I'm not going to criticize somebody for feeling that way because I think I know what that feels like. Um, my resolve was so high, so great to find somebody. I didn't want to, I didn't want to do that. Um, I wanted to find somebody, even though it didn't seem like there was any way possible. I was 53, but I was, kind of felt like, might as well be 103. Um, I joined Christian Filipina, and then I found somebody. In 7 weeks and 5 days, we were married. Married, married. May 10th will be 5 years coming up this year. And that's just now, all those years of being single and thinking about, is it worth even living? Should I just end it? How am I going to survive day to day? I don't even think about those days, and you like to think things could be better. But one thing that's important is to have people to talk to. When you're down, find somebody stable, emotionally stable, that cares about you. Tell them how you feel, and open up. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody, because sometimes our thoughts run amok, and we can think of some terrible things. So comments are rolling in here. So let me try to catch up here. Yeah, it does no good. Yeah, and Hank, you're right. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. The thing is, that temporary problem just seems enormous. It seems like it's a weight that you're going to have to carry around, or like a gorilla on your back, some giant weight that you're going to have to drag around for the rest of your life. There's nothing you can do about it. Everybody's more blessed, and I've done everything I can. What's the hope in living? I get that. I understand that. A lot of things can cause that. People who have lost a lot of money, people who have been divorced and lost their children and a lot of money. I think the suicide rate is high in those situations, and so those things do happen. Tom and Ruth says, I know I talked with Britt yesterday morning. Well, that's good, Tom. You're up on this. I will find out. I have an interest because I married a Filipina. I've been to the Philippines. We're planning on living there. I'm always kind of thinking, why is this person in the Philippines? Is it for the same reason I was? Is it something else? A person can run away from something, and they can run towards something. And, there are maybe some that are running away from a situation, going to the Philippines. Things may not end well, while other people may be running towards the Philippines, maybe to look honestly for a good woman, to settle down with. And of course, if they can live there, it would be less expensive. But in my case, I believe we're going there together. For something. We're not escaping the United States or anything like that. Yeah, Scoot. There are suicides in the Philippines, but never talked about. And I wonder why they're not talked about. Are you referring, Scoot, to suicides among foreigners or the Filipino community? Okay, he was saved. So I won't scroll up because I don't want to lose it. But Big E, did you say there were some police, some officers that found him and were able to intervene? Because I obviously wonder what he's doing now, or if he might still consider doing that again. If he was under the influence of something. Because sometimes when you're really down, you start getting suicidal, you drink or you use drugs. And I can talk all night, but I need to keep up with the comments. Hank says, I think I, excuse me, posted her in your live chat 2 weeks ago. An article I found in Behold, an old American man attempted suicide due to a girl breaking up with him there. Yeah, by jumping off a building. Um, yeah, that's just, I don't know. I understand the thinking. I understand how the mind can begin to, I don't know, romanticize that idea. Um, and it's just, it's a chilling thing to know that, that somebody has done that. It's really a bad thing. Tom says, Hank, I know the situation, but was like it's a long story about that. Always a lot of background to something like that. Um, yeah, I can see it being over a woman, or even not. Yeah, upset yesterday morning. In here, people will often commit suicide because financially, in other countries too, financially they just can't seem to keep up. But things are a little different in the Philippines, and you wouldn't expect to see that be the reason given. Yeah, Hank says. Plus, I think it's harder as you get older. That Brit looks like he is in his 60s, maybe. I'm only 32, so I see life is still going up. Maybe he felt he had nowhere to go. I mean, yeah, I mean, perspective. You getting older can be a very discouraging. I mean, being older can be very discouraging, and getting older can be discouraging. There's the phrase aging gracefully. I want to age gracefully. I want to go to the Philippines and kind of reinvent myself, like I mentioned in one of my uploads, um, and look at it as an opportunity with, yes, albeit a relatively short amount of time left, to do something I've never done before and experience things I've never experienced before. And so I am excited about that possibility. But yeah, I mean, you don't know. I don't know what it's like to be 80 or 90, and he wasn't 80 or 90. But I don't know. I don't know what his background was, and I don't know what his expectations were either. John Thomas, thank you for visiting here tonight, John. Says I gave you a thumbs up. I appreciate that very much. But I don't understand who would give you 6 thumbs down. You deliver good messages every week. Thank you, John. I have 6 thumbs down, thumbs down already. It's kind of like RBIs. Is it runs batted in, or RBI, or is it RBIs? I can't tell how many of the thumbs down I have. Not right now. All I see is how many are here and how many thumbs up. But it's some trolls, John. Um, oh, he's back in the UK. Okay, Big E. Uh, John, thank you for the thumbs up. Um, I the video, the upload I did about am I a simp, or I am a simp, has been relatively very successful for me in a short amount of time. And I think there were some trolls that came out for that one. Some of those trolls, I think, try to make a little more sense than some others that are just there to rail on you and disturb, I guess. And I think that some people didn't like the comments, probably liked the topic, and consider me a simp. And so I think some of those, probably all of those thumbs down, are from that crowd. And I'm glad they're watching. I hope there's just a little something they can take away from this, as not to try to stir anything up, but people that are out to troll good, honest guys that are looking for a Filipina, or have a Filipina, or with a Filipina. They're probably deep down inside, part of the lonely group of people that is, I linked the article in the very top there, not the top one, but go down 4 or 5, and you'll see it's about 82%, or it's about 73% of heavy social media users in America are lonely. And then you get lonely, you get depressed, you look for solutions, can't find solutions, you know. What do they say? Um, Anger is a goal blocked. Depression is a goal impossible. So you go from being angry to be depressed. When something seems insurmountable, then some people may see ending their life as a way out. But I just think, John, there's some trolls. But I'll just reiterate: if Mr. E says that I am not a simp, then I am not a simp. Mr. E knows what he's talking about. And his comments, if anyone listened, were, a big part of that upload back in the UK. Tom says, Hank, he was with the lady we all know. I felt so bad for him, but I cannot read minds. And again, I wonder how many people knew that he was going through what he was going through. Let's see. I must keep up here. I'm not used to so many comments rolling through here like ticker tape. When I was in radio, that's how the news came across, on a ticker tape machine. I don't know what they called it now, or call it now, but they don't even have it anymore. Hank says, it seems like older men are more prone to suicide. Do you see their life is headed nowhere, feel atomized? Now I don't know what these words are. And I know a lot of words. Atomized, deracinated, figure they may as well end it. And while I can't disagree with you, Hank, there is a lot of teenage suicide, for example, here in the United States. And that's really sad, because they have their whole life ahead of them. But it's just sad any time, any age that you see that. Hank, well, that's the thing, Tom. There are many ladies out there. Never put your eggs in one basket unless you're 120% sure and have an egress plan. I don't have any. I've thought about this too. I mean, it won't happen. But what happens if Aiza leaves me? Well, she's not going to leave me. I do concern myself with what happens if she dies. Definitely. The thought crosses my mind, especially when I see the way people drive over here. And she drives well, but she doesn't have the overall experience to anticipate everybody's bad driving potential. But she is a really good driver. But we have winter here, in the Midwest, and snow and ice, and the rain can come pounding down so hard, and sometimes you can hardly see through the rain. Big E says the police burst onto the scene and is all on the live stream. Well, that's surprising. That's still up there. I guess that'll be the talk as more people find out about it. I just hope they don't make dumb assumptions about this. It's a sad thing, and it could have been a very tragic situation. But if Aiza left me for some reason, well, I would take responsibility, because I married her. That's my job, to vet out any potential wife, whether I marry her in less than 8 weeks like I did, or 8 months or 2 years or something more typical. I would say, well, I missed something. or I wasn't thinking, or I wasn't listening to people. We try to get good advice, talk to good sound people that can help you, and then it's up to you, to make that decision and own up to it. Yeah, crying, taking pills. Finally, I see a lady paramedic on screen. It goes off. Very, very sad. Big E and Cebu, it's a good lesson to listen what led to that moment, how some people feel not loved or appreciated. And he was talking about the stigma of mental illness. Um, no doubt he does. There is a stigma, and I have seen. Pardon me. I'm really sorry. I just cannot help. I just can't help the cough, and there's nothing I can seemingly do about it. Um, but there's mental illness in the Philippines too. There's birth defects. There's mental illness. That's just a um, it's just a people thing. It's a society thing. Yeah, I don't have a morbid fascination, Hank, but I would like to see it simply just out of curiosity and not to poke fun, not to troll, but to see what I can learn about him and his situation. I have certainly felt bad before. It wasn't over a woman; it was over just being terribly, terribly lonely. Yeah, and boy, thank God for the people at the chat who were there and who were taking it seriously, as shocked as they probably were, and trying to help him, and, and did a good enough job to stall while the paramedics came in, kind of like you see somebody on the ledge of a building, and people um, trying to stall long enough for them to get some help and help get them to come down. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Big E is only 56. Tom says, well, he had a problem, talked about it many times. He got influenced by a person here. Um, yeah, Hank, there's so many out there. It is hard to keep on. Lady Farmer was on the stream trying to tell him to call the police. Good for her. Yeah, so some Tom are very familiar with, and he's talked about it online, and it does him good to talk about something like this to other people. The thing is, getting people that can help him, people that care about him, and will either lead him to somebody that can, or you know will know what to tell him. And kind of a tough spot. Whoever prepares to talk to somebody that is serious about uh, taking their life. So I just wonder, how much help he got. Yeah, a Big E laughs and funny stuff, and but yeah, he was able to talk about it. Um, really sad. Hank watches Bob, Rike, and Geo. Well, that's quite a trio there, Hank, and I appreciate you watching. I really do. Um, very contrasting channels, Bob, Rike, and Geo. Um, I think different perspectives. I think different situations, living arrangements, no doubt about it. Um, I'm a contrast, and that's, hopefully the combination of my type of channel and theirs. I don't know. It's a lot because we're a lot different. Tom and Ruth. Well, Big E, it goes back a while. Yeah, Big E, many know the background. Hopefully, when he gets out of the hold, he'll reach out to those who know the ins and outs of it. yeah, and hopefully this is an eye opener, and he will learn from it. Maybe he was, sometimes a person, stops taking medication, um, and then they can end up doing things like this that they maybe wouldn't ordinarily do. Hank says, I'm sure that was just a cry for help. He'll get the help he needs, but first step, he should just stay off YouTube. That may be a help. Phil's to Phoenix. How are you tonight, John? Um, I had just a kind of opening discussion topic here, dying for love in the Philippines. Dying for love in the Philippines. And the gentleman here tonight were telling me about um, uh, well-known YouTuber who uh, attempted to take his life. Apparently, that was yesterday, everyone, and it was live on YouTube. And he got, some here were trying to talk him off the ledge, so to speak, and we're able to stall long enough for somebody to come in and take him, and that was the end of that. And so now we're trying to just get help for the man. And so the title here was done, before I knew anything about this. It's just some people go to the Philippines so lonely, looking for love, and maybe end up going there and be ill prepared for the environment or the culture. Maybe they don't find somebody. Maybe they think it's so easy. They just show up, and the women are all over them, and things don't work out, and they end up stuck there and dying. So that was kind of the line of thinking I had, and I had no idea that what they're describing happened last night. Hank says, I think YouTube can be really great for someone like Bob, makes him happy, or it can really feel bad for others, bring stress and anger. I have plenty of, I have some stress and I have some anger over YouTube. I'll admit that. Um, not towards the people out there. I don't, people control me. That's can be trolls. That's all right. I understand that. But it is frustrating. It is frustrating to see, 13, 14 more subscribers, and yet the views continue to go down, and the view minutes therefore continue to go down. But at some point I may have to change up the strategy, maybe just change that foreigner Filipino relationships part of the intro to something else. Change some of the tags. I don't know. I don't know that I want to change the content so much. I've got 220 topics already. Well, just that many I know of that I want to do. Most have been written, and a list of other ones that I send myself notes for, and I haven't even jotted them down yet. So there's a lot of topics that I can cover. I wouldn't say happy is the word for it. Um, I do want to see results, and well, I've kind of always been a results person, which is not always a good thing. I think it's wiser and better to enjoy the process of YouTube, the process of life, because you don't know how it's going to end. I wish I could have enjoyed when I was single better, but I didn't know how it was going to end. For all I knew, I was going to end up miserable and alone, and just couldn't see a way out. Couldn't. I just didn't want to do anything, and to myself and harm myself. And now I've been married for almost 5 years. Satisfaction would be higher if I felt I was getting further along, but it's definitely stressful at times. Yeah, Tom says he hope he gets the help. So many men get the help, 30 days and then back. They call that a recidivism rate. Recidivism, um, relapse. Well, Bob, you have many watching now. You can turn the lights on and get a full-size comb. Uh, well, I've tried looking. This is all I have. This is it. This is to perfect scale right here. It takes a long time to comb my hair with something like this. But we're just going to have to wait, until we get more subs, more views, more the view minutes go up. Fortunately, the weather is starting to change here in the Midwest of the United States, so I don't have to, it's a little bit warmer naturally. Don't have to freeze down here with the thermostat being so low. We'll see. We'll see. Numbers do matter, I think, or they wouldn't keep them. Sometimes it's hard to make sense of them, though. One day, 100% of my viewers are age 25 to 34. Then a week later, it's 5 age groups. Then a week later, they're all 54 to 65. Right now, this morning, it said 55% of my viewers are women, 45% men. Next week, it may be 100% men. So I don't know where it gets some of these numbers. Some of them don't seem to add up. Let's continue here. Yeah, Tom said I told him to stay off YouTube, and who knows, Tom? Maybe this gentleman was looking for some answer for YouTube. Maybe he was looking for some significance, or I don't know. Were there cries for help or clues in there at some point in time? I don't know, because I have not ever listened to or seen one of his videos, so I wouldn't be able to spot anything. But I'm glad you guys are helping the man. It's good to see the Philippines vlogging community actually try to be good to someone and help them. Very, very good of all of you who were able to do that. Yeah, Hank says, I've seen YouTube break people. Yeah, I mean, for those that are in it for, let's say, I don't know, ego gratification or something, they could be very disappointed. You certainly don't want to have your self-worth tied into your sub count or anything like that. And I'm not doing that. I want to see it be successful, but I'm not saying, oh boy, if this doesn't work, I'm not worth it or something like that. Yeah, in other genres, Hank mentions. So Tom says he spent millions of pesos here. Well, I hope he recovers. I hope he didn't take so many pills that there was irreparable damage. I mean, who knows what he washed the pills down with too. Guys and girls have a mental breakdown over YouTube or Twitch. Hank says, I believe it. Not everyone is fit to have a YouTube channel. That's why I don't have one. I just use it to comment. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that. Having a channel, I mean, if somebody has the YouTube channel, they're just doing it. I don't know if they're doing it for significance. There are far better ways. Like the gentleman here that tried to help this man. That's significant. That's very good. Where did we go here? Oh, we just skipped. I mean, it just once in a while it does something, and then don't have your place anymore. So I need to roll through this faster. I apologize for that. Hank says, sadly, that's not the first stream where I saw police and EMS burst in to save someone. In other genres, it happens. He's been watching streams for years. Big E, a lot of times men just can't allow themselves to be weak and have to pick or put up that tough guy front. We are fallen, broken creatures here. Let me get that pop up. Yeah, it's, it takes a lot of strength to, the verse that just popped in my head from the Bible, a just man falls 7 times and rises up again. We get knocked to the mat and we just have to pull ourselves back up, and we're fallible. person you marry is going to be fallible. They're going to disappoint you. And I should mention this too, to fit in with what the title is today, Dying for Love in the Philippines. I mean, if a person puts, there's a good time to mention this, so much inordinate pressure or significance on a wife, a woman from the Philippines or anywhere else to make him happy, something like this could happen. I'm not saying that's what happened because I don't know. But no, a person a person can frustrate you. If you have a good fit for a wife, it can be a very wonderful thing, but you have to expect some disappointment. That's only natural. Um, without trying to become controlling and lose your temper. We do that. So you got to keep short accounts. You got to be forgiving. You have to say, I'm sorry and mean it. And expect the person, the Filipina you marry, as much as I say, Filipinas make great wives, just like you're going to frustrate them, from time to time, they're going to frustrate you. It's best to just understand that now. I used to hear about a guy that he would buy a new car. He said then he would go take a hammer and smash it, put a dent in it right away. Get that out of the way quickly so that he doesn't have these unrealistic expectations for the car and worry about what could go wrong, in every little dent. It's kind of like, getting married. Just, there's going to be some friction. So just kind of understand that and don't hold your spouse to unrealistic, standards. So now let's get back up here. Yeah. So you're right, Big E. It's okay to be weak. I mean, come on. It's okay to be human. Yeah, Big E. And sometimes they do need someone. Hank, that's true, Big E. Well, it's true women don't like a man who cries or is emotional. It's okay to have a group of men who you can do that with and talk about your issues. And this is, when I did the upload, Hank, about having good male friends in the Philippines, this is one of the things I was getting at there is, men need men, as like they say in the Bible, as iron sharpens iron. Um, you need a man to talk to and vent and get ideas. Wise men, not just anybody. Wise men, they can help you. And somebody that you're not afraid to be yourself with, and whether that means not being afraid to cry or not be afraid to, cuss in such a way to make a sailor blush. I have ripped off some torrents with some people who were there to help me when I was just so frustrated. To me, I have to get it out of my system. Then I'm fine. I'm not the type to bottle it in. I got to get it off my chest. And I might have scared him to death with what I said, but I felt better when I got done saying it. And they didn't judge me for it. And I think maybe a couple times people did, and I shook them up. But other times I think they just have to say, look, this guy's gone through a very hard time for a very long time. And some guys would tell me, Bob, I don't understand why you're struggling. Yeah, you've been alone for so long. So what? Just go out and do something. Do this, do that. What a way to demean my pain, to say something like that or to use cliches. Sometimes it's better not to say anything if you're not really sure what to say. But yeah, I've had people that have seen me at my worst, and they still supported me. And those are the friends you want to have. And surely in the Philippines, when you're away from everyone and everything, what a blessing it would be to have a Westerner. I mean, yeah, somebody from your country or from another country in the West, somebody you can get together and say, look, I'm struggling with this. How about you? Or just get together and talk, real, frank talk. I think that would be a good idea. Let's see. Yeah, I agree. They should have other men to share their emotions with. No judgment. Absolutely. Don't do it for your woman. Women don't like it when using their sadness to garner sympathy. That's true. Um, yeah, as far as the comment about women don't like a man who cries or is emotional, I'm very emotional. My wife knows that. Now, she doesn't belittle me for it. She just says, I'm a very emotional person. Um, and that can be over crying or smashing something or just ranting and raving. Um, I guess that's why music soothes me so much because it can speak to me. Um, Music is emotional. That's what good is music if it's not emotional? I mean, if it doesn't elicit a strong emotional response, what good is it? Um, yeah, I'm very emotional. My wife knows that, but she doesn't hold it against me because it drives me. Um, it sometimes it's what keeps me going. Find a way to dig deep inside and push through. So sometimes I think usually I use it to my advantage. I've really calmed down since I got married because my wife doesn't like those outbursts of mine, and those outbursts are wrong and they don't do anybody any good. And they're unnecessary. I'm learning. Yeah, Becky, isn't that something? It literally fits the topic. And this was something I decided, I think, Saturday, and then sent out a newsletter on Sunday for the Monday live stream. And so there's a link up there if anybody wants to be alerted to the next live stream and the time and the topic. And it won't always be on a Monday. And there's some other things on there too, but I can send it to your email. You just have to sign up on that notification link up there. And the topic today was dying for love in the Philippines. So, Philippines vlogger attempted to commit suicide. Um, Whether it was about love or something else, I don't know. But you know, some can go to the Philippines thinking this is my last chance. If this doesn't work out, it's over. And that would not be a good way to approach going to the Philippines looking for someone. Tom and Ruth, Philippine Adventures. The problem with me, they judge, and on YouTube is um, as well hard, and so many men are taking meds. Yes, YouTube is their release. Um, but Tom, you're right. There's a lot of negative comments, and they're probably all, for some reason, they're just cruel comments from trolls. And the trolls, one thing, they don't realize what's going on, and they could, to the right person, the right situation, push them over the edge. They could, because they say things without considering or knowing what the man's history is, and he could be ready to snap, and he could be pushed over the edge by somebody with a very, very cruel comment. And yeah, and meds can make you think differently and feel differently, perceive things differently. Um, yeah, Hank says, yes, Tom, that's why guys shouldn't talk about it on YouTube in this genre, at least. But they should find a circle of guys they trust to discuss it with. Absolutely. We do need that. There's more to getting together than chewing the fat. Sometimes I think it's best to talk about the things nobody wants to talk about. Be real. Hopefully they're not worried about gossip. I guess that's one reason somebody wouldn't want to open up and share with somebody, is they don't want them to talk to others. So maybe it's best just to have one person that you can really open up to, somebody that knows you well, not somebody necessarily that you just met, but somebody that knows you well enough to be able to tell when not to be alarmed if you really, kind of say some crazy things, and when to be concerned about it. Hank says, when you act out in a public stream, people like myself, for instance, who know nothing about that guy, may judge. He needs to close his channel and find guys there in the UK who can assist him. Scoot B says, I never worry about what others say and do. Just leave me alone and we will be fine. Come on and troll and you will not have a good time on my channel. Yeah, it's best to ignore trolls and not engage unless you know what you're doing, and you're not gonna let it get to you. Yeah, many sad situations. It's part of the human condition. Hank says the problem is trolls record these streams, yes, post it on discords, go on channels with fake names, etc. It's a really bad genre. The Philippine one, that is most definitely true. Hank knows what he's talking about there. Absolutely. And then it gets taken to extremes, and again, the wrong person might be in a situation where he just doesn't know what to do and ends up taking their life or something. Tamaru says, Mark Irons, shout out calling police. He is in UK also to help Brit. Yeah, the comments kind of back here a while. Phil says, I haven't heard about that situation yet. Might want to, if somebody can just, for Phil's sake, just mention a name, if you will, of the channel. Was it a Brit farming in the Philippines? Something like that? Not someone I'm familiar with. Big E says, yeah, don't let what happened to you last week, Bob, deter you. Actually, Big E, I'll allow troll comments as long as they don't really start getting lewd. Then there's just no point to it. Otherwise, they can troll away. I always believe I can at least make a dent in their armor and maybe say something that would seem sensible to them. But I get the usual troll comments. There's not very many new things out there. And on that one video, I was getting so many comments, I couldn't keep up with it. I couldn't do anything else. So I got to the point where I just blocked. It's what I tried to do. I mean, I didn't try to delete all their comments. I just wanted the comments to stop so I could do something else, and ended up taking away their comments, which was not I just wanted it to stop. I was not intending to get rid of their comments, because if I didn't delete the comments, I was okay with those comments being there. And I did have to delete some. But yeah, no worries, Biggie. It's to be expected. What's surprising is that someone with only 463 subscribers gets it, and maybe that's not surprising. I don't know. Who knows? Hank Hillian, pretty much the same guys who dislike Rike also dislike you for some reason. I see those trolls on his live chats. Yeah, I'm aware of. I do get some help. I am aware on where I get mentioned in surprising places. And yeah, oh well. I'm just trying to help. But that's the thing, guys. I mean, a troll can go after people that are not married and they're going from woman to woman. And then they can go after somebody that is married and is totally locked into that, not married, and they're going from woman to woman. And then they can go after somebody that is married and is totally locked into that they would be happy with. I don't know. I actually think that some of the trolls are, have a little bit to be concerned about because of the things they say and the joy they take in attacking people. That's got to be an unhappy person behind that screen name. Probably somebody that does not feel very loved, as my wife said, and I think she's right. I mean, because if you got that one person or a good friend or good family that cares about you, you don't care about, what the naysayers are saying. Yeah, Tom in Bukidnon. We wanted to go, Tom, to visit you, but we lost 6 days of our vacation due to having to reschedule it. And with all the other traveling we were doing, we just couldn't manage it because the vacation was supposed to be longer. Hank says, I think it's hard to grow a channel if you stream from the US about the Philippines, unless you had a big following while you were in the Philippines, true, or had a massive following on Facebook, and then carried that over to YouTube. I was doing way better when I was in the Philippines. Way. I was getting enough view minutes to qualify for monetization if that was the case month after month after month. Now it's way off of that. But it was way up there. Everything was way up. It was hard to keep up with comments out there. Good comments, not trolls. So what I think I need to do is play some rooster noises about every 60 seconds. And maybe subliminally, people will think that I'm in the Philippines. Maybe if I keep the lights down dark enough, no one will be able to tell, huh? And then with some rooster sounds, maybe some dogs barking, maybe I can fool people, make them think that I am in the Philippines. I'll have to think about that. Yeah, I hope we can, Tom. It was on the docket, and then we just, my wife couldn't get the time off work. They wouldn't let her have that extra week unpaid. I would have paid them her salary to let her go so we could have that full month, but I don't want to get into that. But it's their company policies that you know have to be followed no matter what. So we had to we just had to do what we had to do. Hank says Tom streams from his house in the Philippines, able to vlog there. Yeah, he's living the life out there. 19,000 or more subscribers. Same with Geo. I don't think Geo hasn't been doing it very long. He's picking up steam. I've commented on Rike's channel. I've commented on Geo's channel, and that doesn't mean that I subscribe to their philosophies about stuff. But I know when I was home, when I wasn't working because I was having knee surgery and knee replacement, and then on vacation, I did hit a lot of streams because I had the time. And then since January 18th or 20th, I just back to working 6 days a week. Hadn't had the time. Last week worked all 7 days. And it's not easy growing a channel. I think it helps from what I've read. YouTube wants to see you get 1,000 subscribers. So if I keep the electricity down low enough, maybe I can save enough to buy another 550 subscribers or something. Just kidding. Yeah, pretty faces attract male viewers especially. Yeah. Where was I? I see Phil's the Phoenix commenting here. Okay. Big E says he was on many live streams lately. Every time I opened a live stream, he was on the panel. You're talking about the the man who attempted suicide. Hank says it's also a double-edged sword, but if you have your lady on stream, it attracts viewers, but they may troll her. Yeah, call her names. I think all of us, Hank, who have a wife, and we know how sensitive they are. They don't understand the trolling mentality, and you don't want to hurt her, and you don't want her to say, so and so hurt me, don't want you having your channel anymore, or get off the channel because so and so are saying these bad things. And your wife has to have a little bit of a thick skin too if she's going to be on the channel. Aiza doesn't like to be on here. She always has a great time. She hates doing it. um, I think if she enjoyed it more, wasn't so self-conscious, she might do it more, but I'm not going to force her to do that. Um, she kind of goes back and forth on that, but she has helped me more than I thought she would. But you make a good point, Hank. You don't want your wife getting trolled either. You have to be pretty low to do something like that. But yeah, double-edged sword for sure. Hank says, my lady is a pharmacist. Does anyone know what pills he took? Um, Probably. Well, when you get prescriptions, they're only for a certain amount of time. So what scares me is if you're going to be popping a whole bunch of them, you're probably not serious about using them because you've just swallowed a whole bunch in a row, and now you're not going to get them. You're not going to get them replaced until you run out, and that's not a good thing. Who knows? But hopefully, you take any medication way more than you should, you could have some serious problems. Phil's Phoenix, several channels I've seen grow hugely when they move to the Philippines. Our videos from the Philippines always do much better than the US videos. Yeah, I know. You're right, John. I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait 4 more years maybe, but we'll see. Big E says they say it in the stream, Hank, but I couldn't make out what the lady said. Okay, about the pills. So if the stream is still there, you might be able to hit that live chat, and you have to scroll through every comment. But it'd probably be near the end, unless you're talking about a new, updated video, Big E. Big E, smash a new car? That's wacky. Sounds like something a YouTuber would do. Yeah. Well, his point was, I don't want to worry about every dent and every scratch, so I'm just going to put a big dent in it right away, and then I don't have to worry about it. Kind of like pretzel logic, I guess. And Tom headed to breakfast. Eggs, toast today. I had buttered toast for the first time in years and years the other day, and it was awesome. So Tom, you have a good day out there in Bukidnon, and enjoy your day. Thank you for stopping by. Hank says looks like he took Monopril, blood pressure medication, and so I assume that would drop the blood pressure inordinately low. So yeah, something like that. Good that somebody was able to get to the gentleman soon, thanks to the heroics of some people here. Brit farming in the Philippines. Praise Journey, good to see you here tonight. Praise Journey, avoid self-destructive things like drinking, drugs, learn a new hobby, exercise, learn to love yourself before you're starting the journey again. There is always hope. Thank you for joining us here tonight, Praise Journey. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't lose a whole bunch of comments. I may not cover everything, but I just lost my place momentarily. Thank you for the thumbs up, whomever you are. I appreciate that. Praise Journey, when the time is right, remember that there is over 3 billion men and women on the planet. The perfect person is out there. You've got options, but start with building the best version of you. I agree, Praise Journey. start with yourself, build the best version of you. But as I mentioned earlier, um, I would, again, I'm going to take your word perfect kind of literally, only because, I mean, some people could go to the Philippines and they've heard me say Filipinos make amazing wives, and it's not all of them. Some of them do, and they may go there and they feel like, well, look, I lost out here in the West. Now I'm losing out here in the Philippines. It's not going the way everybody said it would, and get really despondent and in despair and end up, taking their life. And so, I mean, there's no no perfect, as in perfect match. I know there's no, that there's no perfect person, but I don't even think there's a perfect match. I think there's always going to be things that you I wouldn't call them great incompatibilities, but there's always going to be adjustments that you have to make to your Filipino wife, or any wife. And I think I would agree with, there's a person out there that could make you a suitable spouse. Um, I think some women have way too unrealistic expectations. I think some men have unrealistic expectations too, which is yet another video in the vault of 220 video topics that I have written, um, when I was home, not working. And one of these days I need to uh, do a video on it and make an article, put it on the website. And that's about men being too picky. Um, but sometimes I think it can be a shock. A man marries a Filipina or anyone, and they think, finally, I've arrived. I'm so happy. This is so great. And to that, I would say, well, maybe swing that proverbial hammer into the car and say, you're going to have your tough moments, and there'll be times you'll get tempo and you might not be talking, and you'll say things you regret, and you'll worry about what's going to happen, and she'll drive you crazy, and you won't know, is she ever going to change, and why doesn't she understand me, and I can't understand her either. And that's just normal. Don't get too worked up about it. But good advice: avoid self-destructive things. A lot of guys go to the Philippines, and I don't know, they have the money. Maybe they just spend it drinking, doing drugs, whatever. Work on yourself, absolutely. Praise journey, whatever that is. I mean, just make improvements. I'm not saying there are big flaws in people, but if something can be improved, whatever it is, um, then we can do that. And the lifestyle lounge in the community corner, which we've been trying to get more active. Thank you for the thumbs up. We can talk about with like-minded men over there in the lifestyle lounge in the community corner, also the relationship lounge, and talk about things that you can do for self-improvement. The format is something that I think younger guys would be more familiar with, but it's not difficult. I've put some topics in there, and may not be anybody responding, but you just click over to the side where it says reply, and you can reply, and then you'll be replying to just that thread. You can search for a topic, and see if there's one already there. If there isn't, you can just start a topic, hit enter, maybe put it in bold, um, and then whoever replies to it just has to hit the reply button. It's not what I'm used to as far as the layout of message boards. I'm older though, but a lot of, I think, younger guys would know what to do. And there's a bot in there that will help explain the features of the community corner. It's a great place. You can do direct chats, private chats with multiple people. You can even do video and calls and stuff like that. So Phil's Phoenix, thank you for being here tonight. I hope you and Cindy are doing well. Lady Farmer thinks big. Nice to see you here tonight, Lady Farmer. Hank says, where is Roger now? First comment. Um, first comment that I'm aware of here, Praise Journey, was avoid destructive things like drinking, drugs, learn a new hobby, exercises. Yeah, I was saying that because of your comment. I was just trying to tag on to your comment. Um, there's always hope. I mean, what if I had given up hope? What if I had said, when that clock hits 30 years, I'm giving up because it's obviously not meant to be. If anybody can go 30 years without finding anybody, then they're just never going to. The handwriting's on the wall. I could have filled my mind with negative thinking as much as it might have seemed logical. I mean, nobody was telling me this. It was all up here. I was the one saying, well, this is just never going to work. And I'm glad I didn't give in. I just tried something different. A woman from another country. Now I've been married almost, well, May 10th will be 5 years. So, Lady Farmer, you're familiar with the situation that we've been talking about. I didn't start this live stream, Lady Farmer, even aware of the situation that we're discussing. It just coincidentally fit into the topic, which was dying for love in the Philippines, talking about men going to the Philippines ill prepared. Maybe they're coming off of a divorce. Maybe they have no way to come back if things don't work out, and so they end up in the Philippines. Things don't work out, and then they're really in despair. And some people, if they can't find the love out there that supposedly is so easy to find, they believe, and then if they can't find that, they get very depressed or suicidal, or maybe they get scammed, and who knows what's their frame of mind when they go to the Philippines. But some bad things can happen if they don't have a good perspective, a good handle on things. Yeah, Lady Farmer, not drinking, very, very important. 12 hours drinking yesterday? Well, that's what I was concerned about, Lady Farmer, was drinking and pills. I mean, the pills are bad enough in excess. The drinking is bad enough in excess. So yeah, the man must have been very, very down. Big E still with us. That's good. So Big E raised the incident here, and I want to find out more about it. Not even knowing the man, I do feel somewhat. I feel compassion for him. I just do. 2 hours sleep. Were you up late too, Lady Farmer? Thanks Big last night. Lady Farmer Big has commented on this channel before the live streams, and I appreciate a woman being here. Another person that was trying to help this man. What was it? His channel of Brit farming in the Philippines. And then of course Mike Philippines passed away, and so I thought, well, let's talk about mortality. I've kind of been doing some videos on that, and going to the Philippines, and some men literally are dying to be loved, and I think if you get too desperate, uh, looking for love, then you can make some fatal mistakes. I know it's hard, and I suppose you can never tell anybody's pain because we can't share our pain exactly. Same thing with our joy. You can't really tell or experience somebody else's joy, and you can't really experience their pain. And if you have a woman that you think is the one and she hurts you somehow and you're utterly shocked, I'm not saying that that's what happened. I don't know. But and you're far away from home, far away from your support system, maybe far away from anyone who's, that you think you can talk to about, then yeah, then something like what happened is more likely to happen. Yeah, so Lady Farmer was there and watching it, and not out of a morbid sense of curiosity, but it's maybe there's something that can be learned from it. And I just hope, and I need to pray for the man that he's still doing well, and has a plan to process everything, and what was causing him his consternation. And good for you, Lady Farmer, and everybody else that was assisting him then and trying to assist him now. A good friend of the man. Very well, hopefully not tragic situation. Hopefully the man will pull out and then work on the things he needs to work on, and get an understanding of why he does what he does. If he has a drinking problem, why is that? I think sometimes people are it's like food. You well, food isn't a drug, but it can be kind of used like that. We drink often to self-medicate, drown out our sorrows temporarily. It tends to lead to other problems, and we can do the same thing with food. And we'll probably be. Thank you for the thumbs up. I don't know if I kept up with all of them. I sure hope I did. I'd like to check out this video. So just again, before we leave, if someone wants to comment about their thoughts on foreigners going to the Philippines and looking for love, and maybe making some bad decisions along the way. Maybe they're shocked that they can't find love. I don't think it's as automatic as some people think it is, where the man walks off the plane and he's hoarded by beautiful Filipinas. I think in some areas that don't see many foreigners, he probably does get the rock star treatment, but I don't think that happens as much as it used to. Let me remove a pop-up here. So this last comment there is for Big E. So I released that comment, and I appreciate the mention of that. Kind of odd how it just fits in possibly to the topic. I don't know how much the relationship was part of this man's concerns, but it often is. Sometimes it's a last resort for a man. If I can't make it work in the Philippines, then I just can't make it work. If I can't find somebody here, English speaking Filipina, then I can't make it work at all. If I can't make it work at all, then life isn't worth living. Not saying that's what this man was going through, but I can see that being a situation where a guy could kind of be living kind of precariously going out to the Philippines, because it's not, it's not everything it's cracked out to be, depending on who you listen to. And so hopefully, your prayers will be for this man, this YouTuber in the Philippines, a Brit farming in the Philippines. Just a tough situation for more than just him, obviously. Relatives, people he knows. I assume he's married. I don't know, because I don't know his channel. So yeah, you guys hook up, and since you guys are more familiar with this than I am, sad situation. And like one person said, there's more suicides in the Philippines than we know about. Lady Farmer, for all the people, I'm requesting to be more careful and be sensitive if he is around. And that's good advice. Lady Farmer thinks big. Good advice. Um, so there are some caring people on YouTube. Not that it is a community, literally, but you know, people want to share their lives on there. Nobody's, most people aren't doing it with um, bad motives. Um, there are trolls that make comments that they shouldn't, but um, we should be respectful of each other. Christian Martinson. Hi, Christian. Good to see you here tonight. Have not seen you here in a live stream before. Very happy to see you. I think you should talk about mental health. That is the real issue. Um, yes, I hope you're not a troll. From where I sit, Christian, you never know. Just never know. Lady Farmer says she knows Christian, so I will take your word for that. And Scoot says, really, I will dispute that. Ha ha. Hope you're joking. Um, mental mental health. Well, I know there are people that go to the Philippines that had served in the military and they have post-traumatic stress disorder. That's that's a real thing, and you never know. I mean, I think there are some that are not right with their mental health, and being in the Philippines is could be a very bad place for them as far as getting help, as far as being around people that understand you and know you, and being so far away from home, and trying to make your money stretch. You probably need to probably have good mental health when you're going to be making such a big lifestyle change as going to the Philippines. Okay, everybody, you can see Hank is ditching me here. I'm going to be left holding the bag. He is off to see Rike. Well, Hank, you were here plenty long enough. I appreciate all your comments that you made tonight. Appreciate the comments you always make on these live streams. So thank you very much. Enjoy Rike's show, and enjoy Gio's show, your other favorite. No problem with there. I'm just glad you watch and contribute to Love Beyond the Sea. So you folks know each other, Christian Martinson, Big E in Cebu, and Lady Farmer Thinks Big. Well, thank you guys for raising that issue tonight. I mean, it's just happened, and I agree. That's why I said, but now I'm thinking, okay, as far as the relationship, is it fair game to talk to someone about their mental health? Big Rob is in the house. Hi, Big Rob. How are you tonight? Monday night live stream talking about dying for love in the Philippines. If you've been single a long time, you know you can be desperate and do some desperate things, but sometimes people are desperate when they go to a place like the Philippines, and if they get jilted by somebody, things don't work out like they were expecting. Maybe they get scammed a couple times. If they're not in a good mental health situation, they could really do some damage. So yeah, it is mental health. I would think going to a place like the Philippines with the culture and the weather and the noise and not being around people you're familiar with, you can relate to in the same way. If a person goes to the Philippines to escape some demons, some problems, some mental health issues, then that just may get worse. Uh, Not to mention meds. I mean, can you get the meds that you need in the Philippines for whatever that particular issue might be? I mean, and maybe some men um, will go to the Philippines, become expats, and they need medication and can't get it, or maybe they refuse to get it, and that's a whole big can of worms there. Is medications. There's new medications all the time, it seems. So, yeah, Big Rob, we were talking about a recent event where a YouTuber attempted to take his life while doing a live stream, and some people here uh, happened to be watching at the time and tried to intervene and talk to him and um, I guess encourage him to not go through with what he was talking about doing. And somebody even called for help, and help arrived, and then don't know what happened after that. Just hope that this man is doing well. Don't know, and it's none of my business. Of course, I'm not trying to pretend that it is. It just may have tied into the topic here a little bit tonight. Dying for love in the Philippines, um, but who knows? But yes, we are talking about mental health, and um, you know um, that is probably an issue with. And I'm saying this not trying to be funny, but with a good percentage of expats in the Philippines, um, probably you know probably are struggling in that way. So Rhino, good to see you, Rhino Wisdom, and thank you for the email the other day and the opportunity to help. And I hope that I was able to with those links. Ned at Philippine Dreams once said, if you're an alcoholic, drug addict, or sex addict, the Philippines is a very dangerous place to be. And I would concur with that. Because, I mean, things, I don't know, how can things be better going to another country? Um, yeah, those are not necessarily signs of mental illness, but person, you know, could do those things and not be mentally ill or have a mental health problem, or they might be related, but definitely need to be going to the Philippines not to escape yourself, not to escape your country, but have legitimate plans, um, to go have a better life. It's kind of interesting. When we think of the Filipina, like the one I married, my wife, coming to America to have a better life, marrying a Westerner, have a better life, and then end up me thinking, "Oh, I think I can maybe have a better life in the Philippines. I'm the Westerner. Here I am in America, married to a Filipina, and I'm thinking, yeah, get away from the rat race, go to the Philippines, relax more, adjust to the situation, accept the things I can't change, and try to improve my life in a way, going to the Philippines. My wife wanting to improve her life in a way, coming to America. So hopefully we'll be able to do that someday, and it'll be good for me. Big Rob, wish you and Rhino had been here earlier because I'm kind of wiped out tonight. So I think it's going to be a shorter live stream by design. And but if there's another comment somebody wants to make, yeah, Big E says that describes Ned's comment. That describes about 95% of the expats. Probably right, Big E. Probably right. So it seems. Um, so it seems. But I know that's not 100% the case. There are expats that don't get involved with that. I think being married to a Filipina is very good for you in the Philippines. I believe you, Big E. It's a mess here, meaning in the Philippines, where Big E is with that sort of thing. Yeah, 95%, maybe right. Isn't 100%. And so that's something that Filipinas, like Lady Farmer, should be aware of, that they shouldn't necessarily, just. I think I've always said that the Filipinos need to be a little bit more judicious and discerning in the guys they hang out with. Find out, observe what their mental health is. Do they have a healthy outlook on life with the things they say or talk about or involve themselves with, or do they show an unhealthy attitude towards life? Because if it's as bad as it seems, how are these guys finding women unless they're finding women that also, have their own issues? Um, I think once you get to the point you're thinking about seriously about marrying somebody, it's fair game to talk about that. Might have been one of the questions I had in the series earlier on questions to ask a Filipina um, at different stages, and before you marry her, you might want to ask her, if you're comfortable, is there any mental illness in your family? Doesn't mean you wouldn't marry her, but I just think when you're getting married, that everything should be uh, what's the word? Um, full disclosure. Full disclosure. If my wife asks me something, I should tell her. If she asks about your sexual past, should be open about that. Mental health. Have you ever done this or done that? Um, I don't know. I guess I would just answer the question before you get married. Uh, whether it's to a Filipina or a Filipina marrying a foreigner. Talk very seriously, because getting involved with the wrong person, can trigger somebody to do things they shouldn't do. So expect her to be flawed. Don't expect her to be, perfect or ideal, because you're just going to make yourself miserable and make her miserable if your expectations are, that she's going to be better than she can be. Um, so anyway, I do appreciate everybody being here. Kind of a sobering um, topic, real life thing that we've been discussing here tonight. Rhino and Big Rob, you can maybe scroll through the live chat log here and find out more about it if you want to. and and you can find out what a lot of the discussion has revolved around here today. Christian Martenson, but if you say to someone you have mental health issue, will they understand what that is? Is that person not worth love just because he or she has a problem? Um, that's a good question, Christian Martenson. Um, you know, there are physical health issues um, that I know people have married people with those type of disabilities. A mental health issue, that I think you have to be more careful with. Will they understand what that is? Well, I suppose it depends how well that person can describe it, and how well the other person wants to understand it. They can always research it to find out more about it. And I suppose it would depend on, how that affects the quality of their life. I mean, if they're given to fits of rage, um, or fits or periods of great inactivity, you'd have to somebody would have to decide, well, can I live with this? Can I live with this person? Will they understand? I don't know. Will somebody even talk to them about it? I don't know. Is that person not worth love just because she or has a problem? No, they are worth love, even though they may have that problem. They are. Um, but, depending on how serious it is and what it is, that person's chances of finding someone to accept that, and especially in a marital way, are going to be low. So, yeah, Christian, is she, Big E, is Christian always ask these tough questions here? I mean, no, I don't mind tough questions. I'm just joking, Christian. If you're Filipina, you might have trouble with my humor. Um, but that's a salient question. Um, as far as romantic love, that would make it more challenging for them. Not that it couldn't happen. Thank you, Big E. I appreciate your compliment. Big E says, I hope we can be more tolerant of those who have that problem, Christina, and or Christian. Now you got me. Blame Big E. He made me say Christina because it says right there. Christian. Yeah, he's right. Hope we can be more tolerant of those who have that problem. Um, and a very, very good comment, Christian. I appreciate that. It's a tough issue. If you're talking about romantic love, well, that can be hard. If you're just talking about love and acceptance, um, that's another thing. But unfortunately, they may face an uphill battle getting, just basic attention um, to them. But those people need help, and they do need uh, people to be tolerant of them and accepting. And Big E says men have to be able to talk and not always be a tough guy. Just be a real guy. I mean, why not be accepted for who you are, not who you're pretending to be? Because the people that really care about you, they can see you who you are, the way you are, and that's the way they want to see you. and a person could be surprised, who, well, they'll find out who's in their corner, that's for sure, when they're honest with themselves. Big E says, I hope when stuff like this happens that people try to make people feel more loved, even if it's hard to them to accept it. Yeah, Lady Farmer, keep trying. And apparently you've probably known about this for a while, and maybe weren't surprised. And so just to understand, well, it's hard, Lady Farmer, because sometimes people, that's the last thing they're going to talk about. It's something they don't understand, something that's private, something that's going on inside their mind, and they just don't want to talk about it. Yeah, to understand people, they have to open up. Sometimes that's from knowing somebody well enough that they will open up to you. Sometimes it just takes time for them to know you well enough to feel comfortable opening up. Christian says, I am a thinker, but of course I also joke and have fun. Yeah, you're a ponderer. I'm a thinker too, Christian. That's why I take your question seriously and kind of like to know, why people do what they do. Was it parental upbringing? Was it something that happened when they were younger? Were they bullied? Did they have did they believe things that were not true? Did this come from childhood? Did it just happen lately? Christian Martinson says, yes, Big E, for them, love is the biggest thing in life. At least the persons I know. It may vary from person to person. Yeah, biggest thing in life. Well, love is important, but love is not just. I mean, there's types of love. It's not just romantic love. Person can be loved and not be loved romantically. In fact, Lady Farmer, what you and others have been doing for this man is an example of showing love, because it's unselfish, it's sympathetic. You want what's best for them. You're going out of your way to help them. You want to understand them. You're obviously patient people, kind people, and that's a way to show love to another human being. Very rare on YouTube these days. I apologize for the stupid cough. I tell you what, there's just nothing I can do. I just don't get it. It doesn't matter who I go to. Doctors, it just, nobody can help it. Yeah, Christian, many times all of that is in a mix. Big E says it might sound trivial, but even all of us need occasionally to know people care. It's important, and that they are appreciated. Absolutely. Very true. Let's close that out. Big E says, I only learned of Brit from Christian's live stream, and you liked the man from what you knew of him. Yeah, Lady Farmer, you're always there. Very kind of you, and God rewards acts of kindness. Very generous thing that some of you have been doing for this man, and hopefully he can come through, and if he didn't before, realize that there are people out there that listen to him, watch his live streams, and care about him. Thank you for the thumbs up. So hopefully you guys will have a chance to encourage him some more, and he'll have a chance to realize that people do care about him. When the going gets tough, you know, uh, you'll find out who's in your corner, and you don't have to know everything about somebody to, show them some care. Yeah, so lady farmers nearby in vicinity, if that's the case, that's good. So hopefully everybody will have some compassion on this man and realize how his actions affect many other people, not just himself, but always a definite cry for help. I am not a suicide expert. I know nothing about it other than it is, a big uh, cry for help, and it needs to be taken seriously. The gentleman probably had been thinking about it multiple times, maybe, whatever led up to it. Well, the drinking doesn't help, but the problem was there before the drinking. Yeah, a cry for help. Even people that don't commit suicide, if they talk about it, I just like to, I could kill myself. I'm so angry, I could kill myself. I'm so depressed, I could kill myself. You know, that's a serious thing to say. It's a serious thing to think. Um, but it's part of life. Someone from church last week had a prayer request for somebody they knew that the wife's husband committed suicide, left behind 3 children. Um, how do you explain that to your children? Um, just tough deal. Yeah, so Lady Farmer is right there in the thick of it, and may God help you to be able to reach out to him and affect him um, once he recovers from what he did. And I certainly hope people are, even if they don't understand, at least you can understand. You should be compassionate to him and everybody involved with his life. So it warms my heart, you guys, to know that there are people out there that care about other people, um, genuinely care, and will roll up your sleeves when the time comes and try to assist somebody that you may not even know very well at all, maybe just are familiar with this person. So very good to see. Yeah, I'll have to do that, Big E, probably tonight. So I still got to clean up, get this some finishing touches here on the video. So thank you for bringing it to my attention, and I am interested in that. Hope he does well, and we'll need to pray for the man. So thank you for everybody being here tonight. Sobering topic, but real life, and I hope the best for him. Now, I never know when the next live stream is. So again, I do have the newsletter. If you click on that link, I can send you an email, which maybe is easier if you subscribe to a bunch of channels to know when it's coming out, and make your life a little bit easier, um, so you don't miss it. So thank you, one and all. It's been a fast week. I shouldn't say that. It's always fast. It's only Monday, except I worked 7 days last week. So this is an 8-day week, it feels like. But the weeks go by fast, time goes by fast. Another live stream is done. Watch for more uploads. I've been focusing on mortality um, the last week or so. So check out some of those most recent um, uploads if you're like Christian and you like to think. Um, Hopefully my videos can help people think as well. Yeah, thanks, Big E. Glenn, Tori, thank you for watching here tonight, if you just got here, check out the live stream, live chat, and see what's been happening. Rhino, thank you for the comment. I appreciate that. Glenn, thanks for stopping by here late. You guys have a good week too, and keep praying for Brit farming in the Philippines. It's nice to know there's some people with boots on the ground that care about the man and can try to help him. Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for the subscription, Christian. I appreciate that very much. That you would subscribe. I appreciate all the subscribers. I sure wish I had more of them. But I love the communication tonight. An excellent way for me to end my day and end this live stream on a positive note. Some wonderful people here, caring people, and I appreciate your activity on my channel. So that will be it tonight. So long till next time, till the next upload. This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea.